In today's video, I'm going to go over a few more things that's going to help you with your aim overall in Season 13. Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Eestyx, and it's still some things in Apex Legends that a lot of people may not know about or is exactly not doing everything right. In my last two videos, I went over a settings video telling you all the settings you should be using for Season 13 and the best Season 13 settings that I feel are the best for new and returning players. I also did another video on the specific mindset that you need to go about if you want to improve at any game, especially Apex Legends or any game for that matter. But there are a few things we need to get straight before we actually start putting in what we have into action so we can start improving. So if not in the rest of Season 13, in Season 14, you all can be a whole lot better. One thing I feel that everyone should know how to do is to utilize aim smoothing when it comes to gunfights and aiming in general, also inside of the firing range. Aim smoothing is going to help you because it's put into the game so both console players and PC players can have a better time tracking targets at a long distance. It's not an exploit, it's not a glitch, it's a specific thing Respawn put in so people can learn how to use it. Aim smoothing is the ability to match your rate at which you track your target versus the rate at which you strafe. Let me explain. While you're strafing left to right, and everyone knows if you have aim assist enabled, your aim assist will carry your aim just a little bit left to right while you're strafing. But while you're strafing, you would want to track your target as well. That's at least what you should be doing while you're in gunfights while you're strafing. You should always be strafing 24/7 and tracking your target 24/7. But activating aim smoothing, you can activate aim smoothing by small little jittery movements just like this. So long as you're strafing left to right, it will decrease your horizontal recoil. As demonstrated, a horizontal recoil looks like this. The left and right zigzag is your horizontal recoil. The straight line climbing up is your vertical recoil. Aim smoothing is going to take away your horizontal recoil deviation. It's not going to do anything for your vertical recoil deviation. So what we're doing is we would want to have more longer string strafes instead of little small jittery ones. Little small jittery ones is going to do anything but get you killed. It's going to get you losing gunfights, and that's something that you do not want to do. So you want to keep your strafes long and sometimes throw in a little bit of short ones and some fake strafes so you can be a bit of a harder target to hit. But while you're strafing, you are decreasing the amount of horizontal recoil that you have, if not completely disabling it altogether. Just a heads up with these settings, or the settings that you have, it is possible to completely control recoil perfectly fine while standing completely still, and you don't necessarily need recoil smoothing at most, if not all, the ranges that you are in. I don't have anything special on my gun other than a gold mag for both my R301 and my R99, and with standing completely still, I can still be on target. But that's for people that has been playing for a very long time and know the recoil patterns of the weapons very well. But for those of you that are learning and want to add a little bit more recoil control, or controlling recoil a whole lot easier, allowing your thumbs to be worried about less and start worrying about what's important. If you're aim smoothing and moving left to right, it's going to look like you have no recoil at all. The only thing that I'm accounting for is my vertical recoil. I'm using my character to strafe left to right, and I am pulling down on my analog stick while I am doing this. While doing this, I don't have to worry about any of my left to right jumps when it gets to the last little bit of the magazine. It's only a straight up and down pull, so that's very easy to control. And by keeping this in mind, it'll definitely help you fresh off drop when you find a weapon and you don't have any barrel stabilizers or attachments that you luckily can find on the floor. If you do at least have a magazine, you can utilize recoil smoothing for your advantage until you get the attachments that you would necessarily want on that weapon. Most people would have an attachment. It's the luck of the draw. Your enemy might have a blue barrel stabilizer. You may not have no barrel stabilizer at all. You may even have a blue stock. But this is definitely useful and worthwhile to use. Even if you don't have any attachments on your weapons, it can make controlling recoil at long ranges a whole lot easier. Another thing is your IRL self. What are you using to play the game? Before, in my other videos, I was using an Xbox Elite Series 2. If I'm going to be honest, I do not recommend that controller at all in no way, shape, or form. The controller has very, very poor construction, and I do not recommend spending $100 and something on paying for that controller. There's a whole lot more controllers, a whole lot better controllers for your money that you can invest in that is not an Elite Series 2. The Elite Series 2 ships with the most amount of stick drift I have ever seen in a controller ever. I've only had that controller for a short period of time, and I don't abuse my controllers for the most part. You won't see me tilting in a game at Apex and throwing a touchdown pass using my controller. The most you'll see is maybe I might slide my controller across the desk in frustration, but for the most part, I take care of my equipment that I game with. But that controller is just absolutely not worth the money. At this current time, I have adopted a Scuff Impact, the Xbox One, and it is a very good controller. It has very minimum stick drift right out of the box. It is great construction so far. The new design of paddles on the back are definitely worth it. If you have the money to grab it, I recommend it. If not, you can get Battle Beavers or the extension thing for the PlayStation if you are on a PlayStation console. If not, that is perfectly fine. You can use a standard controller, but always make sure your controller has the littlest amount of stick drift possible. If you want to know the difference between good and bad stick drift that you can live with, and stick drift you should not have, stick drift that's worth dealing with, or stick drift that's not completely terrible, is if you mess around with your dead zone and your aim is kind of drifting like this. Very, very small. Very barely even noticeable. This is okay. This is a stick drift you definitely can live with. You can move your controller around and completely stop it. But if your controller is moving like this and you have this much stick drift, please get a new controller. You need a new controller. Invest in a new controller. If you don't have the money for a controller right now, just make sure that that is your next investment when it comes to your equipment. No controller should have stick drift that's that crazy. Take it from me. Best advice I can give you. If you have bad stick drift, get a new controller. And as I mentioned before, you're also going to want to work on your crosshair placement. Proper crosshair placement in and out of fights. When I mean proper crosshair placement in and out of fights, you never want to have your crosshair looking at the ground, especially after you're done looting. I know you have to look at the ground to find your loot and read your loot and pick up stuff that you need, but you never want to be running around like this. Even though this kind of looks okay, like I've been running around like this perfectly fine, you never want your crosshair, that little white dot, to be looking at the floor. You want that white dot to be ahead of you, just like this, running all the time. You can see loot on the floor, pick it up real fast and get moving, but you always want to have your crosshair up, just in case someone comes around the corner that you don't know. The audio in this game is pretty poor sometimes, so you may not hear someone come around the corner, but it's a whole lot better to have your crosshair up here than down here. And when you see someone, you have to correct for it, and they've already dumped half a magazine into you. The other half of proper crosshair placement is coming up upon corners or expecting to engage someone that you cannot directly see. I know that there's someone around this corner to my right, and they also know that I am around this corner. Most people are going to come around this corner and pre-aim the corner and glue their analog stick to the corner. My apologies, your crosshair, your iron sights. They're going to glue it to the corner and scan all of this open area until they see someone. That is not what you want to do. 9 times out of 10 in a game like Apex, they're going to be moving around. They're going to be jumping. They're going to be sliding. So it's likely that they're going to slide around the corner and end up here. Or they're going to jump around the corner and end up around in the same location. So what you're going to want to do is when you take a corner and you're scanning for it, don't scan all of this open area and look for him. Scan to the open area where you believe that they might end up. Sitting right here is a whole lot better than going the whole entire way and exposing yourself, because it does 2 things. It keeps you in cover and you're prepared for your enemy where they might end up. If they're sliding in, they're going to be sliding around here. If they're jumping in, they're going to be jumping around here. You're already prepared. They're going to jump into your iron sights and you can already start shooting at them. If you're way over here and they slide past you or jump past you, you have to overcorrect and your aim's already messed up and they probably already have a good sight on you, you're all out in the open. You're not even in cover anymore, and you're getting shot at, and there's no way that you can save yourself from that. You might be able to, but at that point you're already low. So being right here, you have full cover to the right side of you. He's not going to be able to see you. He has to come out to where you're already looking in order to engage you. And at that point in time, you have baited him out of his own cover to try to challenge you in that situation. And if you do get shot a lot, you can peek into cover a whole lot faster than he can. If you can peek in the corner quickly and then come right back out while he's running back into cover, and hopefully knock him with the little bit of health he is at right now. Along with all of that, I did not touch on any of movement in my other videos, but movement is just as important as anything else in the game. Implementing movement into your games will be a saving grace for you. It does look flashy, but at the end of the day, it's there to help you. And once you get it down, it's going to feel a whole lot better, and you can take fights more confidently with something that someone else may not know how to use. If you're in lobbies where you don't see anyone that's wall jumping or anything like that, it is very advantageous and useful for you to start learning how to wall jump. Wall jumping is the easiest thing to do in the game, in my opinion, and it's honestly the most saving grace you can have when it comes to taking gunfights. I may not use it in a lot of my footage, and I honestly should start using it more myself, but I do know how to do it. It's very easy to do. You can find a wall. You can use these weapon stands here. You can use the big wall back there. Once you're in the firing range, you run up to the wall and make sure your character grabs the wall. I know I did it extremely fast, but what you're looking for is when your character grabs the wall and slides down. Your hands are going to disappear as soon as they grab the wall. Once you don't see their hands anymore and you're sliding down the wall like you're stuck to the wall, that's exactly what you're looking for. You're going to keep doing that over and over again until you get used to seeing that time and time again. Once you're able to get to a point where your character is stuck on the wall, or you see their hands trying to climb back up the wall, that is exactly what you want. There's a very short time, a time of leniency that you can use after you've clinged to the wall that you can jump. You don't have to do it instantly, but you can wait a little bit just like that and jump off. It's not an instant thing. People do it instantly because they've got the timing down. But for right now, I only want you to run up to the wall, grab the wall, slide down a bit. Once you've done that, you go all the way back, jump on the wall, and hop off. Direct hop off back. You can do that over and over and over. Once you've gotten used to it in the firing range, you need to start using it in your gunfights. You need to start using it to take corners, because taking a corner while wall jumping will definitely surprise someone. Instead of walking around the corner, you can wall jump from the corner, because 9 times out of 10, they're not really going to be expecting you to jump like that. And you're way over here. They're going to be aiming here. They're going to be doing exactly what I told you to do. They're going to be trying to do proper crosshair placement. Maybe they're gluing their iron sights to the corner looking for you, and you hopped way over here, and now you have a much bigger gap that they have to compensate for. If you'd like to see my season 13 settings, that video will be the video up on top, and the bottom video is whatever video of mine that YouTube thinks you would find the most enjoyment from. The subscribe button is also there if you like the video or find the video informative in any way. We are halfway to 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and I greatly 100% appreciate all the support of all the newcomers here on the channel. If there's anything you guys would like to see Apex wise or anything in between, let me know. There's also going to be a similar question down at the pinned comment under the video, and you can answer those questions there. And that's all the time that I have. I'll see you guys next time.